This account revolves around an incident involving one of our subscribers, who recounted it to us and sought our guidance. I'm an ordinary man residing with my spouse, Dorothy. Everything appears to be going well until, unexpectedly, she springs a surprise on me. We're lounging on the sofa, engrossed in some show, and she casually drops the bombshell. Have you ever considered the idea of an open relationship, darling? It's as if a record begins to play. An open relationship? Like what? I nearly choke on my drink. My mind engages in acrobatics, attempting to formulate a response that doesn't make me sound utterly out of touch. She proceeds to discuss how she longs for the electric chemistry we once had and that she's feeling somewhat unfulfilled. Honestly, it resonates with me. I'm experiencing the same sentiments, even if I hadn't articulated them. After that conversation, I began to notice her behavior was somewhat peculiar. During one instance when she was taking a shower, I seized the opportunity to check her phone and perused her messages. It was then that I discovered her involvement with a guy named Mike. Their correspondence even included photos of her. I attempted to compose myself. I reassured myself that it might be some kind of jest. Nevertheless, as mere days passed, my anxiety intensified. It came to my attention that she had a scheduled encounter with this Mike, and yes, you read that correctly. It was a rendezvous centered on physical intimacy, not the usual dinner and a movie scenario. While I'm generally open to exploring novel experiences, this felt akin to plunging headlong into deep waters without first checking their depth. Consequently, there I was, quite possibly the world's least adept detective, discreetly trailing her as she made her way downtown to rendezvous with Mike at an upscale hotel. My heart reverberated as though auditioning for a solo drum performance, caught between extending trust and allowing my imagination to conjure up a slew of potential scenarios. Dorothy casually approaches the hotel, and my heart is now throwing a full-on rave inside my chest. And guess what? She encounters Mike, who is just casually hanging out outside. All right, I think to myself. I have an idea of where this is headed. But hold on tight, because here comes the unexpected twist I didn't anticipate. Oh my God, they simply walk into the hotel as if they're strolling into a regular coffee shop meetup. Only, they're joining a small gathering of 4 other guys. My bewilderment goes off the charts. Who are these individuals? Why are they all so chummy? It's as though I've stumbled into an alternate universe of unpredictability. Curiosity gets the best of me, and like a moth to a flame, I trail behind them into the hotel. I'm not entirely sure what I'm hoping to uncover. Perhaps there's some sort of truth serum waiting inside that will elucidate this entire perplexing situation. Nevertheless, I'm resolute about obtaining some answers. The door to her room is slightly ajar, and I find myself a mix of nerves and sheer determination. I cautiously nudge the door open just enough to catch a glimpse inside. Despite having witnessed some outlandish scenes in movies, nothing could have readied me for this sight. There stands Dorothy in all her glory, completely nude as if posing for an art class, but she's far from alone. Oh no, there's a cluster of other guys present, each in varying degrees of undress. It's as though my brain has switched to slow motion mode as I grapple with comprehending this surreal scene. A surge of panic washes over me, causing me to stumble backward and nearly trip over my own feet. I find myself in the bathroom, hunched over the toilet as though it's become my newfound confidant. My mind is a whirlwind of emotions, bewilderment, rage, and a touch of queasiness. What on earth is happening? After what seemed like an eternity of wrestling with both my sentiments and my stomach, I gradually regain my composure. I wipe my face, draw a few deep breaths, and ready myself for, well, truth be told, I'm uncertain about what exactly. I need to muster the courage to knock on that door. My fists quiver akin to a leaf in a tempest. "Who is it?" a voice queries from within. My voice seems to have lodged itself somewhere between my throat and my mind, so I muster the courage to knock once more, this time with more force. The door squeaks open, revealing a man in a bathrobe who appears as thrilled to see me as a cat enduring a bath. However, my focus is immediately drawn to the scene behind him. There stands Dorothy, akin to a deer entrapped in headlights. And then there's the room. Goodness, the room. It resembles a circus stage where the performers have all forgotten their costumes. A disconcerting symphony of moans, groans, and skin-on-skin sounds forms an unusual composition that I can't erase from my hearing. Dorothy approaches me, her face a medley of guilt and embarrassment. I'm grappling to locate my words, and before I know it, our voices collide in a heated showdown. Accusations take flight, hurtful phrases are hurled like grenades, and it feels as if the room vibrates with the weight of our emotions. Amid the turmoil, Dorothy suggests that we step outside to converse. Now, it could be the anger clouding my judgment, or perhaps it's the wounded pride, but I take an action I never anticipated. I guide her back into the room, my tone laced with bitterness as I essentially grant those other men permission for whatever they had in mind. Storming away, Dorothy's cries seem to trail me down the corridor, an eerie echo of the recent events. Hailing a cab, my mind races at breakneck speed as I make my way home. A tumult of disbelief, anger, and a persistent sense of betrayal whirls within me. The days that ensue blur together with tears, arguments, and eventually a heart-wrenching divorce. I sever ties with Dorothy, resolute in my determination to forge ahead and leave that nightmarish chapter behind. The journey has been marked by heartache, confusion, and, surprisingly, a touch of personal growth. A year passes by, and gradually the pain begins to recede. The prospect of re-entering the dating scene doesn't seem as overwhelming. Thus, I make the decision to cautiously test the waters of online dating. I create a profile on Tinder, engage in the familiar left and right swiping, and guess whose profile emerges? You're right, it's Dorothy's. Her description reads, "Open to all sorts of connections." I find myself staring at the screen, a cocktail of emotions coursing through me: astonishment, incredulity, a touch of lingering bitterness, and even a sprinkle of nostalgia. Yet, here's the surprising part: my finger hovers over the screen, and with a mischievous grin, I swipe right. Why not, I ponder? Maybe just for amusement's sake, for a hint of irony. Little did I anticipate, the cosmos had a plan of its own, or should I say, in the wake of that right swipe. Skip ahead a bit, and behold, it's a match. Indeed, you read that correctly. Dorothy and I swiped right on each other in this peculiar cosmic twist. A chuckle escapes me, almost as if fate is having a laugh at my expense. So, with a glint of mischief dancing in my eyes, I type out a message. "Open to all sorts of connections, huh?" That's something I can vouch for now. Best of luck. With a press of the send button, a curious blend of contentment and closure washes over me. It's as though I'm placing a punctuation mark at the conclusion of a protracted, tumultuous sentence. Just like that, the initiative is in her hands. I lean back, my gaze fixed on the screen, contemplating what her reaction might entail. Will she be taken aback, amused, infuriated? Perhaps a fusion of all three emotions. The seconds tick away, each one elongated, akin to an age, as I await the appearance of the little chat bubble, indicating her reply. Finally, it emerges, her message, a fusion of acceptance and maybe even a hint of remorse. "Yeah, I suppose we both gained some insights." It's a simple response, yet it carries a weight that's hard to ignore. We've come full circle, acknowledging the madness that our open relationship experiment led us to. With a sigh, I typed back, "Take care, Dorothy." And just like that, our brief but loaded conversation comes to an end. It's a chapter closing, a chapter that involved heartache, confusion, and a dash of absurdity. As I close the app, I can't help but reflect on the roller coaster that was my journey through this unexpected odyssey. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs, of leading us down paths we never thought we'd tread.